Hello, living in Boulder vlog, March 28th, 2019, Tuesday, 3:56 a.m. I've been working since the last time I did my vlog. I don't know if I've done it like this before, where I do a vlog when I get up for one day, and then I do another vlog when I get to sleep for the next day at the end of the work. Like, I do a vlog at the beginning of my work day for one day, and then a vlog at the beginning of that same work day for the next day. So I know exactly how many hours I work solidly. I can't really remember when I got up. If it was 9, which I think maybe it was, then that means I've been working for 12 plus 6, like 18 hours. So yeah, or 19. But I usually like to get 8 hours of sleep a night. Well, it's like 6 to 8, I guess. So what I'm up to is when I started the video, when I started the day, I didn't really know how much I was going to accomplish, and I actually didn't get that much farther. I'm still in the same thing because right now I was doing the pathways to tracing the exact route, and then to all the mountains that I made, 400 mountains around that you can go from Boulder. And then you have the tour of it, looking at it from around, and then the panorama of it, videos, and then the videos of the trip there and back, and also the videos of showing it, each section on top, because I have most 300 of the 400 actually different colors and different, so different lines for different information of all the different, like road, dirt, and running. So it zooms in that third way. Anyway. You can't adjust when it does, and it also does another video where you go along, but it's really close. You can't really adjust how high you were. I think you could before on Google Earth, but so that's But today what I did was on my page, my Google Earth Adventures page on my website. It showed the mountain ranges. I decided to go ahead and put the mountain ranges. Those include a lot of mountains that I didn't include in my 400 mountains. So, but I ended up making the roads to those anyway. And there's a lot of other mountains around there. I didn't even include it all. I mean, if I wanted to take it to 500, I probably could, but I'm not going to. So so I've just been working on that all day because I had to locate all the mountains, all the mountain ranges, and then trace the lines there, which takes a long time because you have to look and see where they are, through the trees, and all of that. So just to get through these mountains, man, if I could do that tomorrow, like if it takes me all day tomorrow, but I finish it, I'll be happy with that. Because then after that, I can move into the other stuff for my Google Earth Adventures. And I saw that I never even finished it. I had a couple other bicycle, so that'll be fun just to do easy, like brain candy type stuff. So as far as what I read, I was kind of distracted today. I think I'm still kind of coming out of my high. I wasn't being high all the time. I wasn't stressed, though. I'm not stressed and wishing I want to smoke weed. I know that I'm done and I can't eat it or anything. But I did listen to Plato Republic Chapter 8 over and over and over. Over and over again, maybe like half a dozen times today. I also want to get in the habit of listening to the Constitution every day. I just saw a video on Sam Cedar. Some lady was in Congress talking about how she wanted to invoke Jesus, and that's technically that's not anti-constitutional because the Constitution says you can't make a law supporting any religion, but that implies being anti-constitutional by talking about Jesus in the Congress. I would, if they say you shall make no law supporting any certain religion, I would go ahead and interpret that as meaning thou shalt not show any support for any religion if you're inside the government building. It's totally disrespectful to the Muslims, but I don't know. But but that's just my opinion. That's not really that strong of an opinion. But it's just, it makes me freaks me out. It makes me feel like they're going to try to make laws like that in this day and age. But anyway, geez, I got sidetracked. What the hell am I talking about? Oh yeah. So anyways, my idea was to yawning a lot because it's the end of the day. My idea was to for everybody to listen to the Constitution every day, because that's the glue that holds us all together. And people are, and I'm actually freaked out that they're going to change the Constitution, rewrite the Constitution. Like it's like, but Donald Trump be like, it's real old. Don't you change stuff that's old? And if they do that, we're fucked, because they could just go ahead and keep changing it, and then we're in a kingdom. So, and that's possible. We could go into a kingdom. We ain't out of the woods yet, homies. So anyways, but I listened to the public. Today I definitively decided that I absolutely have to memorize chapter 8 of Plato's Republic, because he's talking about in that chapter, and I don't think it's that many pages. It's only like 35 pages or something. But in that chapter, he talks about all of the different forms of government and how they change. What happens when they change and what makes it. So I want to, you have to memorize that word for word if you're going to be able to interpret it. Because Plato is jam-packed with ideas. So I just want to, and I don't have the time to actually read it. One of my subscribers yesterday, Marty McFly, said he had Plato Republic on a book, and that's a good way to learn Plato Republic, because in book format, because you're there reading it and holding it and just perusing. You read a sentence and then you think about it until you memorize it, and then do another sentence. Because they knew a lot about all the different forms of government, more than anybody in the history of mankind, because they had the city-states. You go a few miles down, it's a whole different form of government, and like those guys knew all about it. Like all you had to do is, be wealthy enough to be well-traveled enough and do your tour of Greece, and you're going to know all about the different forms of government. It's pretty amazing what they had going back then. But so anyways, that's my goal. And then I'll do a video. So I'm just going to listen to it over and over again. I don't want to talk about it now because I've already talked for 8 minutes, and there's one other thing I want to talk about real quick. I got this really cool idea to do, okay, put your thinking caps on, all right, for this one. I tried to explain it to my mom, yesterday, and she didn't even let me do it, because as soon as I got started, she rolled her eyes and told me I had too much time on my hands, which really made me mad, dude. I don't have enough time on my hands. That was a really disrespectful thing to say. Last week, I said to her about it. Oh, I can't remember. Whatever. Anyway, so this is it. So everybody see, nowadays people are starting to get super steamed, pissed at all the super rich people for being rich and complaining that they're rich and just blowing money. Like Betsy DeVos has 10 yachts, and multi-billionaire, and so people are warming up to the idea of just wanting to tax the wealthy, and then the people in the Fox are still saying that taxing wealthy is bad. Most of the people in the world today, I think people are just primitive minded, because, we have 7 billion people in the world all of a sudden. So I think they had to kind of scrounge out souls from animals. So we got a whole bunch of young soul people living in the world who don't understand the value of having a fair country where there's, where we don't have gods ruling over us like in ancient times. So how do you get the money out of them? Well, my philosophy is you get the money out. You force them to give you the money voluntarily, instead of getting aggressive and obviously you want to make taxes and do it the old-fashioned way, but there are creative ways to do it so that we'll put the power in the hands of the individual. So an individual can't go say, hey, we're going to tax the wealthy. They have to vote for somebody to say they're going to tax the wealthy. But if you want to bypass all that stuff, you could just ask a wealthy person to give you money, but like a super wealthy person. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start the 100 Monkeys, okay? We're the 100 Monkeys, and we're all bike racers in Boulder, 100 of us. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the bike group on Saturdays, and I think there's like 50 people. I saw it on YouTube. This dude has a YouTube channel. Some anonymous person has a YouTube channel, and they filmed the people leaving, and I counted 50 people. And so that's half of the 100 Monkeys right there. So there's way more than 100 bikers in America, in Boulder. So what I'm going to do, I think this is fucking brilliant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to all of this isn't a long time, in like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years. It's going to be when I'm solid and I have my website going and all my ideas typed out. But it's going to take probably 5 years. But so everybody knows that Boulder is like a socialist place. So if you go around saying you're a libertarian, people, might not agree with you, even though, there are lots of rich people here. The people who go biking out there are probably young, and they're like socialist, so liberal. So anyways, so I want to see if I can convince all the bikers out here to proclaim themselves to be libertarians. They might be like, "What? I ain't no libertarian. I ain't no libertarian." I'll be like, "No. New libertarianism. We're gonna hijack libertarianism." So how do you hijack libertarianism? You do the Jedi mind trick on the Koch brothers. What you do is you go, "Hey, Koch brothers, we're all libertarians. We love everything about you." Because what you want to do is blow a whole bunch of hot air up the asses of rich people. And you definitely don't want to freak them out and make them scared, because throughout history we have reincarnational knowledge, memory, historical memory of the rich classes. Every time there's a revolution and they get put out of office, most of the time they get murdered. Like with the French Revolution and Rome, ancient Rome, the purges all the time. And even though we are too civilized of a country to do that, I think people are just scared. There's that fear. When you see when you're a super rich person, a Betsy DeVos type, and then all of a sudden, everywhere you turn, it's a bunch of young people being like, "Yeah, fuck those rich. We're going to get them motherfucking money, them motherfuckers." It can freak you out. So I think the best thing to do is to cajole them into giving you their money voluntarily. I think FDR managed to do it by subtly or friendly informing them that there was going to be a revolution if they didn't give up their money for Social Security and all that. And so they did it out of fear. But they did it voluntarily. There was no actual bloody revolution in America in the 30s. But I think the way to get them to give up their money voluntarily these days is by kissing their ass. Like, rich people love getting their asses kissed. Like, that's the whole reason people like to make money, is for your ego. Because you have an empty soul, so you need something else to fill your soul, so you have money. What else fills the soul of an empty-souled person? It's licking their ass and kissing their ass and telling them that everything about them is perfect. Kim Jong-un style. They're just like God on earth. So, yeah, so you just do that with the libertarians. Now somebody be like, "But no, why do you do that? We're not libertarians." That doesn't really help. I saw a video last week about it was a debate between a MAGA guy and Antifa guy. Okay, both hardcore extremists on each side. The MAGA guy was a dude who, I saw Young Turks about him. He was like cussing people out. "Hey, bitch, you motherfucker." Anyway, so they were talking for an hour, and they were both saying that they wanted to help poor people. The MAGA guy kept saying he helped homeless people, and the Antifa guy too. But the Antifa guy never acknowledged that there was anything good about the MAGA guy, And so when you got these two guys on each side and they can't acknowledge that there's anything good about each other, then there's not going to be any movement until there's an explosion, you know? It's like those people who can't express their anger and all of a sudden they blow up, you know? So, so you just give them, you just kiss their ass and you tell them that everything about them is perfect. But you only say that, so you try to, you just look at the light side, you know, the glass is half empty part of everything that they say. And there's a lot that I have an advantage, and I actually agree with a lot of what the libertarians say. And then, but you stick to your guns on the whole wealth discrepancy thing, and the Medicaid for all, healthcare for all stuff. But what you're trying to do is, make everybody low overhead. So my idea is to try to make everybody in Boulder libertarian and declare to be libertarian, and make the kings and the starters of libertarianism, the Koch brothers, huge pictures of their faces on the back of your jersey, and then on the top $50,000, because that's how much they give you every year for living the bike school life. I've explained the bike school life. It's where you don't have a job. Obviously you have a job. Your job is to ride your bike all day, every day, just like you're a professional athlete. Only you get paid to get, cycling and that kind of lifestyle, learning going, but you get the rich people to pay for it. And but you make it worthwhile to everybody you have to listen to an audiobook every day, every time you do it. And so at the end of every day, you have to talk for an hour about what you learned. And you just make a habit out of it. And if 100 people are doing that, it's the 100th monkey. Everybody's heard that story. The monkeys on the island, and they taught a monkey how to break a shell open with a rock. And as soon as 100 monkeys on that island did it, somehow the monkeys on the other island started doing it. Like there was telepathic communication. It just becomes common knowledge. And so if we can get 100 people in Boulder to be libertarians, then maybe it'll give other people the idea, oh, well, maybe if I do the same thing, I'll get money too. And then they do it, and then they get money, and then everybody decides that it works. And so, because in my experience, it's extremely hard to get people to do that. They just want to be your enemy. Okay, so let me tell you about the things about libertarianism I like. I like how they wanted to legalize drugs, at least marijuana, so then maybe all drugs. That saves a lot of money, $40 billion a year as of 10 years, maybe even more than that we waste on that. We're on drugs. And then I think maybe even they said get out of war, but I don't know. But one thing that they're into is getting rid of the government. They like to say we hate the government, the state. And so let's just get rid of the two things that cause the most state spending. War, obviously. But we don't have the individual doesn't have any control on not going to war, other than not showing up at the army, not joining the army, which nobody should ever do, because that's like you support the war. Like you should rather starve to death or be a street beggar than join the army, because if you do that, it means you believe in it. But the other thing is education, and that's something that each individual person does have a control over, because you can teach people by example. You just, it's like you're influencing your little brother or your son or something. You ride your bike every day, and then you do an hour-long video every night. Every single day you're doing that, well, then all of a sudden you're a professional teacher. Because that's basically what teachers do. They talk about an hour a day. And then you bill the rich people for it. And you tell them that you're being a soldier for society. Okay, so, you tell them that you love them. You love them for everything that they say. You love them for, against weed, or trying to legalize weed, and for wanting to get rid of the government because, you want to get rid of the schools. And you just say, yeah, I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that, And if the Koch brother themselves, if they find out about you and they go, wait, but I like the wealth discrepancy, and you go, well, we're new libertarianism. You just redefine it. Why not redefine? Like that's how libertarianism got started in the beginning. Like the bunch of rich assholes at think tanks over at the whatever institute they call that, just got together and conjured that name right up out of thin air. We're libertarianists, and then all the other ideas and stuff, so if the rich people do it and the king can do it, then why can't normal people do it and just hijack their version of it, and if they go, wait, but we like the wealth discrepancy, you go, oh, come on, well, whatever, we at least we agree on, the important things, and then you kind of convince them later, and if it doesn't work, you just keep doing it, and then you get to the bottom of the argument, but to get normal people to do that, because normal people, too many normal people would be like, oh, and that'd just be funny as hell if I had a libertarian jersey and I'm like, we're all libertarians, and I'm filming it on YouTube and some like person's like, wait, if you're a libertarian, libertarianism is bad, you're bad, and then I could film them saying that, and then I could kind of film them do the character arc as they realize that I'm not a typical libertarian, and then see if I can get people to to try to go for it, to declare themselves libertarian, like why not? I remember when I was in college, I was in like a freshman in college, I'm in the dorm room and like there are these kids knocking on everybody's door, making everybody sign a petition that they were that they were gay or something like that, just as a joke, and they got everybody to sign it up. So yeah, just get everybody to say you're a libertarian, because that's where the money is, man. You got to go where the money is. The government doesn't have the money. Halfway rich people don't. Even somebody who makes $1 million a year doesn't, because their overheads are so high, because they need so many different things to make them feel okay about themselves. But if you go after an ultra rich person who's also politically active, like a billionaire, like a Betsy DeVos type, a Steve Mnuchin type, a Charles and Richard Koch type, Donald Trump type, people who want to actually take over the government. Those are dangerous people. Might turn into a kingdom. So you just go, you go after them because they have the money, and then but you do it licking their ass and telling them that they're the best. And if they give you the money, guess what? They really are awesome. They're like Agrippa from the good old days, building the baths for everybody, And I think they can be. See, this is what I'm really saying. I think they can be pushed. I think the real libertarians, those rich people with the money, can be pushed, and I think the people in Boulder can be pushed. And if you push them both together, you get 100 Boulderites to go, hey, we're libertarians, we love you so much, thank you for the 50,000 you're just about to give us. And you do that for about 5 years. And as the time goes on, the Koch brothers start to realize how much people hate them, and they don't want people to hate them. Maybe they realize it's better to not be hated than to have a bunch of money. And then they see the solution. Just give the libertarian bike racers the money, and then they have the money, and then they can, have whatever they want. The $50,000 a year, you could even buy your health insurance for that or whatever, So anyways, that's my idea. I'm gonna, I guess I'll write it later. So tomorrow, I'm gonna go to sleep now, man. Because I was starting to get a little bit groggy or whatever and overworked. So I would go to sleep. Just gonna get up and whenever I do, and well, I'm gonna call my mom and see if she wants any help, and then try to finish at least the mountains of the Boulder, Google Earth Boulder adventures, so that I can get going on some other stuff and actually feel some progress. If I can finish this Google Earth Boulder Adventures page, like this week or whatever, it's going to be a major bonus for me, because then I can go and start one of those other Google Earth pages, which I'm actually more interested in, more fascinated by. I think it's more interesting for people. What I'm doing is and I think I may be done, but I don't know. Tracing all of the walls, and not just in all of the walls too, multiple walls if there are, all the walls of all the cities of ancient times in Europe and the world, and then their kingdoms and their countries. And and I am going to probably get carried away where I draw in all the roads to between the towns and the battles that were there and what the battles look like, so people can get an idea of how big everything was in the past, via Google Earth. So anyways, dang, how the hell did I just talk for 24 minutes like that? So yeah, peace out. Hopefully, yeah, tomorrow I'll probably still be working on that page, but hopefully I'll be near done with it. Okay, have a good one.